On this episode of Lapeef, Let's Talk.
Million people are in one demographic are doing it. Oh, that's not true. No.
You're conflating arguments and you're moving the goalposts instead of staying right here.
Because
the thing about it, though, chaotic, that's interesting, is that nobody is disagreeing with your general sentiment about MeToo. Nobody is disagreeing.
Which is why I said you can be right and wrong at the same time. But go ahead.
Nobody is disagreeing with your general sentiment. I think guys every single day, and I talk about this on my own platform, are being railroaded. And they absolutely are being used, and it's egregious what's happening. But two things can be true at the same time. And if you really want to deep dive into the discussion, right, if we really want to start talking about it, then there's a lot of unreported sexual assault that happens in our own households that we tend to ignore, which is the foundation and the root of the problem in itself.
So I agree with what you said, right? I too have caught my daughter in a lie about something, right? Which is why I said I would still do if it was one of those things where I just completely believed her, I wouldn't go and do my due diligence to find out what happened, right? I wouldn't go digging anymore, right? So I don't know, maybe it came off fucked up or whatever, but no, because my child has lied to me before, like I'm gonna take her complaint seriously, but I'm still gonna want to find out the full-on facts, everything, because it's not just my child. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
You're not the only person that answered that question, though.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. So I'll answer it, and this is actually a personal story. I won't get too deep, but my daughter, when she was in pre-K, and there were some kids, they were saying some stuff, and my daughter was involved. And of course, I'm gonna have my daughter's back, but then again, I went to the school to find out, okay, did my daughter do this? Was she involved with these kids? And it's like someone was kissing somebody. Was my daughter involved? I talked to the kids' parents. So again, I'm going to have my daughter's back, period. But again, I'm still going to try to figure out all the parties before I start blazing. Pop, pop, pop. So I have her back. I'm going to support her. Even if she's in the wrong, that's still my daughter. It doesn't say that she's not going to make mistakes.
So how does that change? Fair enough. But how does that change anything in society when your first instinct is to believe? And I'm not saying that you're wrong for believing your daughter. Let me be very clear. But what I'm saying is that this same narrative is what people at large adopt in society, because one way or another, we still look at women as a weaker vessel. Okay. And what our instincts tell us to do, regardless of whether they lying or not, and that's not necessarily me, it's not necessarily chaotic, but society at large want to believe a weaker person when they say somebody of authority did something to them, which is one of the reasons why this whole MeToo thing came along in the first place. So all I'm saying is, how can you be consistent with saying that, yo, I got her back regardless? Because that's like saying, from my perspective, what I'm hearing is saying, I got her back regardless of whether she's lying. I'm going to believe her first and then try to, and then see what happens. I said, this is what I'm hearing. I'm not
sure. And I'll clarify.
But all I'm saying is, how is this any different from what society does at large? Because how can we take that position with the people that we closest to, but then we're not objective enough to then we say, well, we shouldn't do that in regular society? Because I believe how you are first in your own household is what then you do with society at large. And even that's even what the Bible says. Be faithful in little, and then I'll make you rule over much. It applies to everything. How you are in one thing is how you generally are across the board. If you're late for church, you're going to be late at work. You're going to be late to your funeral. If you're a person that's inconsistent and you can't manage money, why would I make you over the finance department? You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm just being objective. Right. And I've been watching, I've been observing, I just been listening. And one thing I will say about Kay, and I don't necessarily agree with the entirety of her argument, but she's really just saying that how can we be inconsistent depending on the circumstance and situation that we place ourselves in. That's all I'm hearing.
No, I agree. That's what I'm hearing too.
So as a parent, And as Quest said, he called his daughter-in-law, and you have to, and me having going to the school, me having my daughter's back, I understand if something happened and she's in the wrong, I'm going to check it, but I'm still going to be her parent. If she needs to get help, if your daughter needs to get help, your son needs to get help, I'm still going to parent my child. So me wanting to be there for her doesn't negate that she's going to be in the wrong as well. And like Quest said, you need to find out the whole story. That's why you go to the school. That's why you talk to the parents. You get all the information first. And that's with any situation, whether it's a little boy try to kiss on her or she try to knock somebody out, you find out all that information. And I think sometimes we forget too with the MeToo movement, the other side. Like, and I told Kay, I have brothers that was lied on. They have sisters and moms too that love them, that want a thorough investigation. You're not going to just say something about my child either. Let's figure it out. We forget about that side. We forget about these men that are getting talked about, and you're the character of your husband, your boyfriend, your brother, your dad. And you're like, no, he's not like that. Let's figure it out. You're not just going to say he did this and then you cancel him, he loses his job. And so it's vice versa. You got to be balanced on both ends. Courtney, but again, I'm not treating everyone. I'm not believing every woman.
But Courtney, what you
I agree I agree that people.
Second, Kay. I'm gonna let you rock.
And there should be a whole thing. But Courtney, honestly,
wait, Kay, one second.
You say, hold on,
Kay, let me just say one thing, please.
5 seconds, please.
It's only gonna take me literally.
Okay, go ahead.
Courtney, somebody at the beginning is the first thing you coming out with is guns blazing. You said I'm coming out with guns blazing in the very beginning.
I did say that. So let me explain what that means, because I'm not bringing pistols to the school. But if I hear something about my child tells me something, of course, my first reaction, I'm going to be pissed. Who did it and why? That's a first reaction. That's any parent's first reaction is going to be, especially as a mom, as a nurturer, which you said earlier in the show. But then also I got to think as an adult and what's best for my child. And it's first to figure out what happened, who did what and why. Now, after I find out if I still get the guns a-blazing, then it's on and popping, but it's not, and it's on my child, then I need to work on her to see what's happening, what's going on. Do you need therapy? Did something happen to you to make you act this way?
But by the time that you figure that out, for the most part, you can't retract. You can't get that guy's reputation back. You can't undo what the authority's saying that they're going to do, because you can't make them not prosecute this dude, because they're going to do whatever it is that they feel like is needed to do. You can't undo a lot of that stuff is what I'm saying. Like, it's already too late. The guns is blazed.
Okay, maybe we're losing.
I know Kay wanted to say something, so.
Kay, you're on mute.
Oh no. I know. So the thing that I was going to say is, like, just anecdotally, like, based on your experience, Courtney, do you think you know more men who were falsely accused and suffered consequences, or do you know more women or girls who were no y'all, everybody shaking their head.
Finish the question.
I'm just asking, do you think you know more men who were falsely accused and went to jail or got in trouble, canceled, whatever, or more women who never said anything, or girls who never said anything, grew up and, just suffered with whatever happened to them?
I hear more stories of women getting sexually assaulted than men saying that they lied about it. However, the women that has said it has never gone to any police, hasn't filed anything, so they said it.
Why do you think, Courtney, that a woman wouldn't go to the police?
Well, I mean, it could be a whole lot of factors.
What are some of them?
So some could be they're scared of repercussions that might happen depending on the guy. The guy could be popular and then she could get shunned. So that could be one. And it could be another where she's lying. It could be that she's using that against him because maybe he didn't want her. Or she's embarrassed because she gave it up and everybody found out and then she's Me Tooing him. I don't know. So that's why you have to take things on an individual basis. Yeah, you said it, okay. But now that men are, and because it's in the out front, because now it's Me Too, and they thought it was going to be something to turn into something else. And now the world is seeing that women are actually saying this stuff and it's not true. Then now you got to take a step back and be like, where's the proof? I mean, you're saying it. Why didn't you say anything? Is it true? Did you talk to the guy? We never talked to him. Hey, I heard that you did this. We never talked to him. He never gets a voice. We just hear women saying that to us, but we never go and confront him.
So,
yeah.
Okay. Go ahead. No, I have a question. Kay, if your brother's girlfriend came to you and said he RAP whatever to him, what would you do? What would you tell her to do?
Go to the police and file a report.
Would you believe her?
It depends. I mean,
depends on what?
I don't know. I would have to hear the situation. Be more specific.
Right. You would investigate more.
Yeah, I would have to know more things. Like,
for me, this is a very easy.
Hold on. I don't think that I don't think that people should just like, oh my goodness, this happened. Throw him in jail.
Requested that you're gonna give him blowback though, so I'm confused.
I don't know what you're confused about.
Well,
I just said it. Quest did the same thing, but you give him blowback. So I'm confused of how you answered it a different way.
I'm confused too.
Wait, did that happen?
Yeah, no, it sounds like yeah. Go ahead.
Wait, what's the confusion?
I'm not confused. She's answering and she's saying
what's the confusion?
It's situation.
The confusion is Quest answered the same way you just did, but you gave him pushback. So how is it that you can do it that way, but when he said it, he gave his answer, you said
okay, I get it. So if a woman, now we're thinking about like the world, and many people, especially in this space, think men are more aggressive, men are more this, men are more that, men are more likely to do this and that, blah, blah, blah. But people in this space believe that. So if that's the case, and there are people that are saying that a man did a thing and a woman is this, whatever kind of person, then yeah, I mean, I would think that if generally men are more strong, men are more capable of overpowering a woman. Is that not true? So if a woman says like this man like did this to me, I'm gonna be more likely to believe it. Me personally. Now, if my brother, we're talking about personal relationships, I'm gonna tell the woman, if she's like, your brother did this, I'm gonna say, well, file a police report and see what happens. I think that people should absolutely get a trial. People should absolutely, get their due process of the law. I don't know what else should happen. Q, you're yawning. I'm not sure what else.
Hold on.
No, I'm yawning because I'm tired.
But what do you want?
Hold on 1 second. Hold on 1 second.
No. I'm just wondering. What do you think?
Hold on 1 second. Hold on. Kayla, you were nodding your head yes, agreeing with Kay.
Oh my goodness, JR.
What is it that you specifically agree with her?
What should happen? What else besides?
Hold on, Kay. Kay, hold on. I'm talking to Kayla right now. Hold on.
This topic, I'm really not that keen to speak on, because I know people personally that have been sexually assaulted, haven't been believed. Nothing's happened to those people. They filed the police report. They did all the steps. Nothing's happened. This person has done this to other people. Nothing's happened. So I'm not up for a debate on people lying, because the numbers show that people don't report because people aren't believed, especially people that are in power. It's been like that for a long time. And now that a couple of girls started taking advantage of a movement, now all women are out here lying. I don't have the energy to, I'm not going to do it.
So respectfully, we're nobody saying that all women are lying. We're not saying that. I'm saying, I'm gonna speak for me. I'm saying that everybody is owed due diligence on any particular issue. It doesn't matter if it doesn't matter if it's this subject that we're talking about right now, which you want to say the R word or whatever, or if it's somebody stole something from out of a convenience store down the street. You have to investigate everything. It doesn't matter. So, and I think, yeah, I'm gonna just leave it at that.
What do you think?
I think that when somebody was asking you a question, you was deflecting.
Oh my goodness. Okay,
it's not no oh my goodness. It's the truth.
Okay, JR.
Now you agree. This is what
I know how it goes. I've been here long enough.
We've been saying for the past 30 minutes. It's the exact argument. We've been saying the same thing, but now you agree.
Okay, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Go ahead, Chaotic.
Thank you. I have to ask Kayla and Kay a question. When they answer, I would like to give a response, and I'll be real quick with it. Kayla and Kay, you don't have to have any stats, nothing. I just want to ask you a question. So since a lot of women, and let's just use American women, black, white, whatever, so you're saying a lot of women don't report. What percentage of men have committed sexual assault that you believe? Just your own opinion. I'm curious to know. And then I would like to say something afterwards.
I have no idea. Let's look it up.
Just give me a number. Just your opinion. Please give us a number.
I don't know.
Kay, you just said a lot of women don't report, right? So there are hundreds of millions of women in the country.
I'm not going to do that. No.
Okay. Kayla, do you mind giving like a number? What percent of men have committed sexual assault? Anybody over the age of 18. Since a lot of women don't report it. Okay, well, since you guys won't give me an answer, if you're 18, 19, 20, 21, if you're a man, these right here, Exhibit A and Exhibit B, these women, and this woman right here is a teacher. I rock with Kay, but come on, this is a teacher. This is why I stopped teaching. These women are nuts.
Hold on, chaotic.
There's no data, there's no stats, and again, this is why a lot of men have been in the penitentiary and dead, because women.
Hold on, chaotic. Hold on.
So let me ask you a question.
Sorry.
Can I ask you a question?
You asked me 1,000. I'm sorry. I blacked out. I'm sorry. I've been quiet. I'm sorry.
How many people do you think? Because there's tons that go unreported of sexual assault within our own families.
I believe this. This is what I wholeheartedly believe. I believe that there is no data to substantiate the claim that family members are doing these things in numbers that are perpetuated by.
Because
I'm answering your question.
I know, but at the same time, you're dodging the question because you asked them to give you a hypothetical number.
10%. Okay, 10%.
Okay, so if that be the case, right? 10%, because I believe it's higher. I believe that most people know somebody or people in their families or someone that either has had things done to them, men and women in their own families, or we know of that uncle, that auntie, or stuff that did not get addressed earlier in their lifetimes, and it goes unreported.
So are you saying, Anton, that the majority of are we using black people or just Americans in general?
I didn't hear nobody say black people.
Okay, going by your logic, are you telling me in the audience that the majority of American households, the majority of the people are rapists and have been molested? That's what you're saying.
I am definitively telling you that the majority of American households and families have had some experience of that in their household.
But there's a number.
I'm not saying definitively, but if I had to guess, I would bet money on it. Yes.
Okay, Anton. So what number do you believe that the majority of men are doing this?
If I had to guess, slightly less than a third.
33%. So that would lead me to believe that there is a pandemic or an epidemic, one of the two. We could be using the wrong word. That means that there is a crisis going on. If that amount of people are committing these acts, which I don't believe. I believe that a lot of these acts are over-exaggerated, flat out lies, and there are preventative measures, again, that I keep on saying. Stay away from drunk women. Stay away from children. If you are a man, I'm telling you, man, this is Exhibit A and Exhibit B at the bottom. Are you telling me that almost 50% of men are committing these acts? That means that 50% of
slightly less than a third.
Okay, so 33%. That is a large number. And I
think that it's a real number. And I don't think it's just men. I think that it happens in families and in households, and it goes unreported. And this is what we do. We protect the people that we have a close relationship with, and we sweep it under the rug. And it's not addressed the way that it needs to be addressed, which is one of the symptoms and the foundations that we have this wrong. I agree with you. This whole MeToo movement is wrong, but we sweep so many of the real problems under the rug, and we don't want to talk about it, and we don't really want to address it, because that's the root and the foundation behind why things are happening the way that it's happening in society as a whole. So if we don't want to really have a real conversation, and we only want to lean on talking points, then I think that we're really doing ourselves a disservice.
I think that what is being said tonight is absolutely egregious. I believe that men are actually suffering because of this. And this is why I live by extremities, because I see this madness in this society, and it is absolutely appalling. Again, I wanted to answer the question about even if I don't have any children, but if I had a daughter, listen, I would tell her flat out, if you go to college and you hang out and you're drunk around the football team, shame on you. That's what
but chaotic. You're not listening, because you talking about if you go to college. I'm telling you, before most kids get to college, they already done experienced it.
So let me get this straight. So if 33% of men are doing this in the family,
I'm not saying that that's accurate. You asked me to guess a number, and I guessed the number.
So if you're saying this is true, man, you're telling me that large numbers of kids are just are suffering.
Large numbers of kids, by the time that they already get to college, they already had this experience.
Hey, and to back that, right? Like just being in the military alone, I've come across tons of women that have more or less said exactly what Anton is saying, as far as like being sexually assaulted or molested and things like that within their home before they came to the military. Sometimes a lot of them are running away from their families off to the military to get away from that shit, which is bad too, because a lot of that shit happens right within the confines of the military. There's been huge problem. They actually just recently created new legislation because of the epidemic within the military of sexual assault and things like that.
So, question,
I do believe that a lot of kids are being assaulted and molested and things like that before they take off and go off to college and things like that. But here's the thing: you can be right and wrong at the same time. Basically, what Courtney said earlier, right? So I don't think. Oh, damn! I had a point I was gonna make.
Well, Quest, how about this? Can I ask you a question, and you can think about your Quest. Let me ask you this. So let's just use a demographic here. Let's use a racial demographic. This is black, right? Let's use black. There's 40 million black people in the country. So I would assume that there's 20 million men, right? If 33%, let's just use that arbitrary number, right? I know it's not the number I know Anton said both men and women. You mean to tell me 6 to 7 million black men are grapists?
So I didn't say black. I thought you said that we wasn't.
No, I'm just using a demographic. I'm just using a demographic.
I don't think it's just men, chaotic.
And then on top of that, I don't think we're only talking about the RAPE word either. We're talking about assaults. We're talking about
how about this?
Molestation.
People think that
harassment, those things. I'm sorry. I'm just trying to finish my point.
Can I say something?
Hold on, chaotic. I'm trying to finish up what I was saying. They're not all the R words. There are assaults, there's molestations, there's harassments, all those things. You said the number was 6 million. Do I think there's 6 million of them niggas? Sure.
You know what I find fascinating?
I can. Yeah.
You know what I find absolutely fascinating? I could go on a panel. I could say claims like most black men are gangbangers. Oh, you can't say that just because that's the anecdotal experience. I can say, give me a second here for a minute. Because I can go on panel after panel and say some things about black people or about groups of people. You can't make those claims. But when I say, I just find it hard to believe that 6 or 7 million people are in one demographic are doing it. Oh, that's not true. No.
You're conflating arguments and you're moving the goalposts instead of staying right here. Nobody because the thing about it though, chaotic, that's interesting, is that nobody is disagreeing with your general sentiment about MeToo. Nobody is disagreeing.
Which is why I said you can be right and wrong at the same time. But
nobody is disagreeing with your general sentiment. I think guys every single day, and I talk about this on my own platform, are being railroaded. And they absolutely are being used, and it's egregious what's happening. But two things can be true at the same time. And if you really want to deep dive into the discussion, right, if we really want to start talking about it, then there's a lot of unreported sexual assault that happens in our own households that we tend to ignore, which is the foundation and the root of the problem in itself.